Have you ever experienced a moment where you suddenly felt like this already happened before, even though you knew it couldn't have? You find yourself standing in a place you have visited 100 times, perhaps your own kitchen or a quiet office after everyone else has gone home for the day. The light from the window strikes the floorboards in a particular way, and a scent you cannot quite name drifts through the air, perhaps the faint smell of rain on dry pavement or old paper from a nearby bookshelf. In that instant, a profound and unshakable feeling washes over you. This exact arrangement of light, sound, and sensation is not just familiar. It feels like a perfect repetition, a scene you have lived through once before in identical detail. This sensation is not a memory in the traditional sense. You cannot place it on a timeline or connect it to a specific day from your past. It exists in a strange, isolated pocket of awareness, feeling both ancient and immediate at the same time. The feeling often arrives without warning, a quiet interruption to an otherwise ordinary moment. Someone might be speaking to you, their words forming a simple, unremarkable sentence, and yet you feel a powerful certainty that you have heard these exact words, in this exact tone, from this exact person before. The feeling is so convincing that for a brief second, the linear progression of time seems to bend back upon itself, creating a loop you have been caught in. You might pause, mid-sentence, you scan the room, your eyes searching for a clue, a tangible piece of evidence that could explain why this present moment feels like a carbon copy of a past one. The picture on the wall, the hum of a distant appliance, the way a shadow falls across the corner of a desk. It all seems to align with a blueprint you didn't know you possessed. Yet, despite the strength of the feeling, your logical mind remains a steadfast observer, quietly insisting that this is impossible. You know you have not lived this moment before. And this internal conflict between feeling and fact is what makes the experience so deeply unsettling and strange. The feeling creates a quiet but profound dissonance within you. It is a form of cognitive friction, where the smooth surface of your reality is momentarily scuffed by an inexplicable sense of repetition. You might question your own perception, wondering if your mind is playing a subtle trick on you. The moment feels significant, imbued with a weight that ordinary experiences lack, as if it is trying to tell you something important. But what that message might be remains just out of reach, a whisper that you can feel but cannot decipher. The world continues on around you, unchanged, while you are left standing at the center of a small, personal temporal anomaly, grappling with a feeling that is as real as it is impossible. Imagine you are walking down a street you have never walked down before in a city you are visiting for the first time. The sun is bright, its light hits a large glass storefront, creating a sharp, momentary glare. A red car moves slowly past you, its engine a low rumble against city noise. For a single, fleeting breath, the cracked pavement beneath your feet looks profoundly familiar. You feel a certainty that this street will turn left at the next corner, your body subtly preparing to make that turn, muscles tensing in anticipation. You instinctively slow your pace, perhaps even come to a complete stop. But then, just as quickly, the rational part of your mind reasserts itself. You halt, feet planted on the unfamiliar sidewalk. You have never been here before. You check a map on your phone. You look up at the street signs. Logic is confirmed. This place is new. The feeling, when it arrives, is undeniably strong. It can begin quietly, a subtle undercurrent in an otherwise normal situation. And then, all at once, it can become overwhelming, consuming your full attention. For some, the experience is described as eerie or uncanny, a tear in the fabric of reality, leaving a lingering unease. For others, it feels significant, like a sign or message from an unknown source. This sense of meaning compels people to search for deeper explanations. They wonder, could it be a glimpse into a parallel universe? Could it be a memory bleeding through from a past life? The human brain is a meaning-making machine, and it begins to speculate. People ask if déjà vu is subtle time travel, a slip into a moment that already occurred. They question if it's a message from the subconscious, or from something outside themselves guiding or warning them. The strange and compelling moment of déjà vu does not last. It is, by its very nature, an ephemeral experience often fading as quickly and mysteriously as it arrived. It is like trying to hold on to the fine morning mist. The moment you try to grasp it, it dissipates into the air, leaving nothing behind. One breath later, the profound strangeness is gone, and the world returns to its normal, linear state. The feeling of absolute certainty that you possessed just a second ago vanishes, and you are left with only the faint echo of its presence. You cannot hold on to it, study it, or force it to stay any longer than it intends. When you try to consciously capture the feeling, to trace it back to its source, you find that it is an impossible task. We do not need to wear a hood of mystery forever when contemplating this strange feeling. We can lift the veil and look at what the brain does during these moments. And in doing so, we can find a simple, elegant truth. The human brain does not have a single, monolithic system for memory. Instead, it has more than one way to know something. Think of it as two separate systems working in concert. One part of your brain, located in regions like the rhinal cortex, is responsible for generating the feeling of familiarity. It acts as a rapid signal, a quick check that tells you whether a person, place, or situation is new or known. Another part of your brain, primarily the hippocampus, is responsible for recollection. This system is slower and more detailed. It is the brain's librarian, carefully storing and retrieving the rich, contextual stories and details that make up our episodic memories. It is the part that remembers the name that goes with a familiar face, the conversation you had at a particular cafe, or the events of your last birthday. In a typical moment of recognition, these two systems work together seamlessly. The familiarity signal fires, and the hippocampus immediately retrieves the corresponding memory, giving you a complete and coherent experience of remembering. You see a friend, feel you know them, and recall their name all at once. But sometimes, for a variety of reasons, these two systems do not line up perfectly in time. The familiarity system can occasionally trigger on its own, without the recollection system being engaged. It can send a strong signal that says, I know this. In that brief, isolated moment, your mind is flooded with the powerful sense of oldness, the raw feeling of recognition. But because the hippocampus has not provided the accompanying memory, you have no context for the feeling. The feeling of knowing is intensely real, but the memory to explain why is completely missing. This temporary mismatch is what creates the illusion of déjà vu. There is another, even more subtle cause that can contribute to this phenomenon. Your brain is constantly processing an immense number of information streams from your senses: sight, sound, touch, and the timing of it all. If, for a fraction of a second, one of these tiny streams of perception is delayed, or if two related signals arrive at the processing centers a hair's breadth apart, the brain can misinterpret them as two separate events instead of one. It may process the first signal as the initial experience, and the second, infinitesimally delayed signal as a repeat of the first. So, the strange and often unsettling feeling of déjà vu. It is not a secret message from another dimension. It is not conclusive proof of a past life. It is not a prophetic whisper from the future. It is a small and fascinating glitch in the machinery of the mind, a momentary hiccup in how we process familiarity and memory. The mind is a masterful storyteller, quick to fill gaps with a neat, plausible answer. Faced with familiarity without memory, it creates the illusion of repetition. The brain gives you the distinct shape of a memory, but withholds its picture. It only changes what the feeling means. It transforms it from a paranormal event into a neurological one, from a mystery of the cosmos into a mystery of the self. The experience is a reminder of the complexity and fallibility of consciousness. Next time you enter a room that feels like an old photograph, observe the process with a different kind of awareness. Notice the quiet, elegant trick your brain just played. Instead of being swept away by mystery, become a curious observer of your own mind at work. Let the thought pass with gentle curiosity. Watch how quickly absolute certainty arrives and then, just as quietly, how it dissolves, leaving you in the simple, unrepeated present moment.